Oh, what a weekend it was to be a Jersey girl. And not even just wrestling stuff. My wife was absolutely killing it in cornhole yesterday during the 4th of July party we had. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast. My name is Karl. We are powered always by the Eastern Observer. You can choke on the power. Excuse me. That's how powerful it is. And you know why? Because today is Doubleheader Tuesday. Oh, my God. Immediately on right after us, if I can find the correct graph here, as I've stopped joking. Oh, where'd it go? There we go. Doubleheader Tuesday. The primetime rundown will be on immediately following us at 7 p.m. So however you're watching this show on YouTube or on the Eastern Observer Facebook page, smooth transition on the Eastern Observer fan pages here. Anywhere you're watching us, you can watch them. So make sure you stay tuned post Essential Wrestling Podcast to watch the prime time rundown with Joe Jarzanka, Ian Schreier, and Mike Szabo. In the meantime, we have an absolutely great show for you today. On the bottom part of our screen, as always, the living legend, John DeConnie. John, how are things today?
It's a lovely day in Jersey. It's a lovely day to be a Jersey guy. Rooting for a Jersey girl.
Jersey girls shined this weekend. And on the top part of our screen.
And number 4, John Smith.
John, we'll get to it in a second, but like I said, you got to be probably the happiest out of all of us with what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't go exactly how I thought, but it doesn't matter, does it?
No, it does not. Points are points, and you got them. James Wheeler already chiming in. I heard this as well. Rumors going around. Io Shirai. I guess she's dating or engaged to Evil from New Japan. And there's a lot of these Japanese relationships that kind of just threw me for a loop here. I guess I didn't expect, Io and Evil. I guess they really just put two and two together, but good for them. Yeah, it looks like Io's going back home. Just kind of did what Kyrie did when her contract's up. On today's episode, Josh Alexander has now done what no one else can say they ever did, and that is beat Joe Doring. Blood and Guts delivers as advertised on Dynamite. Travis Severance will be here. He's going to join us today. He's going to fill in for Ryan Joy to discuss that match. Becky Lynch proves why she's called No Holds Barred Bex last night on Raw. Gary Mehaffy is with us to discuss NXT UK and the big women's tag team match this upcoming Thursday. Get excited. I want to throw the picture up now. Miko Satomura, this is coming your way, girl. I cannot wait for that match. Go get him, Zaya. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows presented by Minutes to Bell Time and sponsored, as always, by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, thanks you, John Smith.
Sorry.
You're okay. She'll like it too.
I'm over here looking at Becky Two Cheeks.
Becky Two Cheeks. I get more and more upset every premium live event, every pay-per-view that she just doesn't go back to Becky Two Cheeks. It's just not. Although Sunday or Saturdays, the kind of, I want to say like Electro from the old Spider-Man guy, I guess, I'm not a comic book guy, but I know what Electro looks like. But it was a very, the dark green with the gold. It was pretty.
I thought she was the Green Ranger.
She could have been the green. She could have been the Green Ranger.
I thought because like Seth was the White Ranger once. Remember that? And it's actually the same person.
Yeah, Tommy, right?
Tommy. He was the best Power Ranger.
My money goes on Amy Jo Johnson every time. She's Canadian, so. Here are the Raw roll-ups heading into last week. Raw with a 6 roll-up lead over AEW. He's got 3 on Impact. SmackDown, Xavier Woods has to pick it. I gotta tweet at him. He's gotta just get his. He's gotta get his bleeping gear here. But we're going to curtain jerk the show with this past Saturday's WWE's Money in the Bank, and boy, did we all spy a Jersey girl as Liv Morgan from Elmwood Park. It's about 45 minutes from me, probably closer for you two, maybe about 20 minutes from each of you. Absolutely stole the show on Saturday night. And John Smith, I was happy. I got Liv right. So did you. I was content with that, but you decided, you took it a step further. But let's talk about the Money in the Bank win before we get into the, they say Miz has big balls. Look at the size on Liv's.
Yeah, right. After 10 minutes of entrances, the match finally got underway. It didn't really seem to go according to plan at some spots. There was a few botches. You saw Shotzi smack her head on the back of a ladder. Yeah. And I think the blood on the front of her head came from the back of her head, because when she came off the ropes, she slammed her head on the back of her head on the ladder, and it did not look good. Asuka took a nice little bump through the ladder on the outside with a leg drop from Becky Lynch through a ladder that was propped between the apron and the announce table. And then we got Becky up on a tall ladder going for the briefcase, Liv on a short ladder next to her. She gets pushed off by Becky, but not really. She springboards back up off the ropes, pushes Becky off instead, climbs the ladder, and then we got ourselves a Jersey Girl as the Miss Money in the Bank. But I guess it won't last very long.
No, it didn't. So Liv wins, and then it wasn't the next match. The US. The third match was the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair defeated Carmella after a KOD. There was a post-match attack by a pissed-off Carmella. It wasn't really much. Carmella's just a bitch. That was it. But and then we heard nothing, and they went on the next segment yeah, it was it. And then we get to the SmackDown Women's Championship. I have in my notes here, Ronda Rousey defeated Natalya with and then in parentheses, John DeConnie clarification. What the hell was that?
It was kind of like a flying arm bar, but she did it from her back. Yeah, Natty tried to step over into the sharpshooter. Her arm was dangling, and Ronda scooped it up, and dangling from her body, she got her to tap out to the arm bar.
Yeah, I guess we're never in a million. And then Liv's music hit, and I was like, no, what are you doing? Okay, this is ballsy, John Smith. I said all you needed was the cash in, right? Whether Liv won it or not was irrelevant. So the bell rung. I think that was satisfaction enough for you, but
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I kind of saw it coming when Ronda was selling that leg a lot, and they kept the camera on her for way too long. And I was like, oh, this is about to happen. And it happened. And she almost didn't win, Liv. Because she got taken right into an ankle lock right off the bat. But she ended up winning with a Raw roll-up?
Yes!
She just completed the Al Karl circle right there.
Yes. Al Karl bingo was and probably the greatest roll-up of the entire calendar year so far. Nothing. I'm sure there was others that were just as good, but this one I think is going to win roll-up of the year. I got to make it. We should probably have an award show at the end of the year for the roll-up. Just do a 2-hour show when there's nothing going on during Christmas break, just on roll-ups. But yeah, Liv did it, and James Wheeler, he just chimed in the comment. That's it. She did it. Liv Morgan is champion. Best day in the world. I shot out on Twitter. I Spy and MF and Jersey Girl. I was cursing, and I tagged Sonya and I tagged Deanna. Deanna gave me the like back, so she knew. Deanna knows where it's at. So Liv Morgan, the balls to go after Ronda Rousey. That was the route she took, and now. As we found out last night, Liv is, I guess, a Raw superstar. She's gonna have to. I don't know if she's gonna be pulling double duty or if she's just gonna go over, as she mentioned, just sit in the SmackDown locker room for the time being. I guess to be determined with that. Absolutely great night for Jersey right there. John DeConnie, there was a U.S. Championship match, and I mentioned this in jest as we were making their picks. I had theories. This was the one match I got wrong, unfortunately. I did cheat the win. It's theories on to good things right now. As we find out after that. But then we all just remembered that championship was specifically made for somebody.
Exactly. It was made for the Almighty. And Theory ran his mouth, and he had to put his money where his mouth was, and he got it knocked back down his throat. And Bobby kind of didn't manhandle him the whole match, but, Bobby Lashley going to toss you around a little bit. Yeah. And at one point, he had him up, and Theory raked the eyes to get out of it. And then Theory delivered a spear. Like, how dare you? You spear Bobby Lashley? And he gets Lashley up for A-Town down. So he's got, which basically is, he's in a fireman's carry, and Lashley escapes it and immediately sinks in the Hurt Lock. And Austin Theory's got nothing left to do but tap. And Bobby Lashley gets the submission victory, and he is your new MVP's United States champion.
MVP's United States. MVP made that belt specifically for him. But then, as we find out, Theory's night wasn't done. John the Con.
No, I mean, as we said, or as I said at least when we made the picks, I don't know. Can Theory beat Lashley? Lashley is the almighty, but Theory is Vince's boy, or is he not Vince's boy? Because sometimes Vince puts him in spots where you're like, what the hell is he doing here? Well, as the men's Money in the Bank match was about to begin, we get Postman Pierce comes out and tells the 7 men in the ring that he will see their 7-man ladder match, and because it is Vegas, he will raise them 1 man, and that man is Theory. And the internet wrestling community went batshit crazy. And then those 8 men went nuts for about 25 minutes. There was all the insane bumps that you wanted. And at one point, McIntyre was 3/4 of the way up, and Butch got off his leash and made his way down to the ring, jumped on his back into like kind of a sleeper hold, and McIntyre had to slow walk it back down the ladder not to fall off and kill both of them. Riddle takes Rollins off the ladder pretty high up with a super RKO, and it looked like Riddle. I looked like I was going to cash in. It looked like Riddle was all alone headed up that ladder until Theory quickly came up the other side, managed to knock Riddle off, and then was all alone. And your new Mr. Money in the Bank, the youngest ever United States champion, is the youngest ever Mr. Money in the Bank, Theory.
Yep, James Willard, not 1 but 2 stars for May tonight Theory, or Saturday night. Theory getting healed. People hate Theory. He's doing his job. I think he said he was 24. Was Orton 25 when he won the world title? When he beat He Who Shall Not Be Named at SummerSlam way back when?
I think so.
When he was 25, so like Theory's still in the running right now. It'd be interesting to see if WWE actually does that for him. That'd be pretty crazy. John Smith, I know the Usos, Street Profits, other than the New Day, just put with the 3 probably the best teams that they got. And then I know you're a big component of throwing one at AEW whenever a tag team match like this happens, telling them to take notes. So this on your list?
Oh, this one stole the night. You'd think with 2 Money in the Bank matches that one of them would have to be match of the show, but this was match of the show right here. I think we all came into it knowing that the Usos were going to win, and then at one point I thought they were losing when at the end with all these kickouts that were happening. I couldn't handle it, but they finally hit the 1D for the pin. But even Montez Ford's shoulder was up on that.
Yeah,
they showed on the replay. But I think that Angelo Dawkins doesn't get enough credit, man. Like everybody's like, "Oh, Montez is going to be the guy," but like Dawkins can go and he can do the mat wrestling too. I think like Montez is more of a one-trick pony, but I feel like everybody thinks Dawkins is going to get relegated to chasing Akira Tozawa at some point down the road in his career, but I don't think so. I think he can stand on his own 2 feet.
Well, it'd be good. Like, Doc came a long way. Like I don't want to. He might have been an NXT original, like way back in 2014 when that started. Like Doc was there forever before he paired up with Montez Ford and the Street Profits. So it'd be great for him if he could. Yeah, it's interesting to see who's the Matt and Jeff or who's the Marty and Sean out of the two.
Well, that's the thing.
Jannetty.
Yeah, Dawkins definitely looked like he was headed to Jannetty territory the first little while that they were on the main roster. But he has improved so much, you can't ignore it anymore. He's really putting on good matches every time he's out there.
And then we got this random video, very goth-like. I was actually outside. I was watching it through a window. All I see was just candles and gold medals. And I thought maybe Gable Steveson was going to fight Bray Wyatt. I had no idea what was going on. They showed it again last night on Raw. Let's get SpongeBob up here right now because I don't want to. Is this? I guess this is Edge. I guess that's John McConney.
Yeah, there certainly were enough Attitude Era references in there. You saw the Hardys ripped up arm sleeves. Like you said, a generic gold medal. There was a Latino Heat license plate laying around. It was a pair of Dudley glasses. So it's got something to do with the Attitude Era. So it only makes sense that it would be Edge coming back as Edge 2000 or something like that.
The only thing that was missing was Steve Austin walking through from Highway to Hell playing in the background. SummerSlam 98 for all you historians out there. Austin versus Undertaker at Madison Square Garden. Real quick recap of SmackDown. There was an in-ring promo. Actually, real quick before we even get to that here. The WWE standings after Money in the Bank, after 3 shows. Ryan with a slim lead now as John Smith and myself both gained some serious traction. John Smith more than me, pretty much doubling up everybody on the show due to getting 15 points for getting Liv Morgan correct, winning Money in the Bank, and then calling the 20-point cash-in. John Smith put his money where his mouth was. If he was wrong, he would have lost 10 points. But he gets the full 20-point bonus points, and he is now right on Ryan Joy's heels, and so am I. Actually, we're in uncharted territory here, John Smith. We passed Maggie May on this list. Like, what the hell? Yeah, right?
What do the overall standings look like?
Yeah, we'll get to those when we pick. Yeah, we'll get to those when we get to NXT later in the show. Real quick recap of SmackDown. In-ring promo with the New Day. They said it looks like the new Viking Raiders are dangerous. So Xavier Wood pulls out one of the greatest quotes of all time. Probably the greatest superhero of all time. You're gonna get dangerous? Well then, let's get dangerous.
Is that the GIF I texted you yesterday?
It was the game. I just had a still of Darkwing to do it, but yes, I was able to use that and get it over onto the StreamYard, our wonderful friend StreamYard. Darkwing Duck is now canon with WWE. We got some comments rolling in. Let's see what we got there. James Wheeler thinking it was The Fiend, probably Edge. It's like Gable Steve's like gold medal. That was more prominent than, the MCU calls them Easter eggs, I guess, as John McConney. There was this, that, and the other, and that gold medal was hanging around for a while, and it hung out twice.
Very true.
James Wheeler, you did mention this when we went off air. We got the comment late that you were on SmackDown. You were at SmackDown in Phoenix on Friday. Increases the hype for it. So with that, Sonya Deville, another Jersey girl and another Jersey girl. Sonya didn't have a match, okay? She filed a formal complaint to WWE about Postman Pearce and then just proceeded to slap the crap right across the face, 5 across the eyes, Rick James style. And I'll take that as a win for Sonya Deville. As we found that last night on Monday Night Raw, as per the Raw commercial suggests, God Mode has been activated again as our tribal chief returns to Friday Night SmackDown next week. As we switch gears to last night, as we celebrate our country's birthday, I believe it said 246. Coming up at 250 years here, boys. It's going to be a big holiday to celebrate. I missed the bicentennial. That was in 1976, but I did watch Dazed and Confused, so I felt like I was a part of it. About last night on Monday Night Raw, John DeConnie, I think this was once and for all. We're settling the feud between Asuka and Becky Lynch that started right after WrestleMania, and they did it no holds barred. Zeus.
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, the ladies got extreme at the end of the night there, and you had some big spots. You had you had Asuka once again sporting her parasol or her Japanese parasol, whatever that may be. But it backfired on her because Becky would use it to block the green mist. And after almost about 12 minutes of them really taking it to one another, Becky was up on the buckles. Asuka tried to come up and meet her there, and it ended bad for Asuka as she took an avalanche manhandle slam through the table that Becky had set up a little earlier for the 1-2-3. And Becky Lynch beats Asuka and presumably puts this to bed between the two of them at least. And Becky's headed towards the Raw Women's title, I guess, sort of. It wasn't officially number one contender.
Yeah, it wasn't a number one contenders match, but she acted like she just won the championship or the Stanley. She won the World Series, whatever sporting thing that you like.
Yeah.
She was celebrating. I did it. Yeah, she was screaming. She was pumped up for that win. Just like I said, she was been on the losing end of a lot of stuff lately, so she needed that. She needed that win. I got another comment coming in.
Anybody see that boob grab by Asuka on Becky Lynch?
Yes.
I did not know. I missed that.
Check the group text on Facebook between all of us.
Speaking of Goosebumps, you said Goosebumps, right? Speaking of Goosebumps, seamless transition, right? With goosebumps on my body and a tear running down my cheek, Liv Morgan made her first appearance last night as champion, as she thanks the fans for believing in her and not giving up on her. Natalya interrupted, taking credit for Liv being able to cash in on Ronda. Then it was interrupted by Carmella, who was wondering why there was a SmackDown issue on her show of Monday Night Raw. The two jumped Liv, attack thwarted by Bianca, and they had a tag team match because of it. And it's only fitting that Oblivion was the answer to Natalya, as Liv Morgan got the win. Bianca got banged up twice against the ring post during that match. Liv had to pretty much stay. They took Bianca out that match. Liv pretty much piggybacked the team. Got the win with Oblivion on Natalya. The show, though, John DeConnie, started off with MVP's United States champion Bobby Lashley celebrating his U.S. title wins, saying there isn't anyone on any promotion as the crowd. Oh, do you see the crowd on that one? Oh, yeah. Any promotion. Anyone on any promotion that could beat him for that belt that was specifically made for him. Interrupted by Theory comparing himself to Michael Jordan and Tom Brady as he came in clutch to win Money in the Bank. Informed everybody that he was getting a United States Championship rematch at SummerSlam, so there's a match booked for that show. And he's going to cash in. Also, he's got his eye on Brock and Roman, and I hope he maybe cashes in early, like he screws up and cashes in early. Like he cashes in when someone's down for 8, and then the bell rings, and the guy gets up before the 10 count, and he's got to. There's some fun stuff I think he could do with Theory during the course of that match for that. But then John DeConnie, there was also there was a 6-man tag match promoted. It was Bobby Lashley and Alpha and the Street Profits against Theory and Alpha Academy. But then during the 4th of July, I guess, picnic barbecue that WWE was having outside the arena, a hot dog eating contest broke out. And they got us 2 shows in a row. Again, they threw a curveball with the winner of the hot dog eating contest. It wasn't Theory and Money in the Bank, but this time.
Yeah, they had so basically the conversation backstage was between the Profits and the Alphas, and it led to Otis and Dawkins saying that they could best one another in a hot dog eating contest. And as the seconds clicked down, Otis was ahead 23-22 until the camera pulled back and panned to the right, and we saw that Akira Tozawa had put away 48 dogs in the contest. Regardless, this was not good. Dawkins seemed to handle his food pretty well.
Yeah, right.
Otis was having some issues. He was having some issues right there at the barbecue. He was having some issues. Fast forward to a little bit past the midway point of the show where this 6-man tag between Lashley and the Profits, Theory and the Alphas took place. And at one point, he took the From the Heavens splash to his big old belly and immediately rolled out because Otis was in some trouble. Well, the match would end with Lashley spearing Chad Gable to get to 1, 2, 3. Otis was kind of off screen for a little while, and after Lashley and the Profits kind of said toodles and were headed back up the aisle, Otis came back in to wrap his arm around his good buddy Chad and booted all over the ring.
I went with the Wayne's World, so I said blue chunks in my notes.
There you go.
Yeah, if she blows chunks, and if you blow chunks and she comes back, she's yours forever. Otis threw up all her attack. Congratulations. That brought me back to 2013 Thanksgiving episode of SmackDown where Titus O'Neil threw up in JBL's hat. Wow.
There you go.
Being swung by Cesaro. Ezekiel, again, at the barbecue. I guess the street prophets are going around talking to everybody. Ezekiel was there, and he accidentally shot some ketchup all over Seth Rollins, who was wearing all white. So he didn't really take too kindly. That's what they thought about it. Seth Rollins got the win after a stomp. Post-match, Rollins decided Zeke deserved one more stomp after what happened to his suit. He got intercepted going for it by an RK Bro out of nowhere by Riddle. So it looks like we're heading towards Seth Rollins versus Riddle at SummerSlam. I think that's going to be sneaky good. In response to WWE signing Logan Paul, for those of you who live under a rock, WWE signed Logan Paul last week. The most watched Instagram video in history, or whatever. It's just Logan Paul does.
Correct.
In response to getting signed by WWE, Logan Paul, The Miz couldn't be prouder of Logan for saying he's gunning for The Miz. The Miz wants to be his mentor since he once was also a former reality star before going to WWE. So Miz is still looking to team with Logan Paul at SummerSlam, not fight him. And then it turned in, I guess, the scheduled match they had was AJ Styles. He defeated The Miz after a phenomenal forearm. But the fun thing was the post-match attack by Tommaso Ciampa again. Fought off by Styles. And when Styles was about to hit the Styles Clash, Miz saved Ciampa by catching Styles with the stone-crushing finale. A fun handshake between The Miz and Ciampa. They seem to be on the same page, which makes The Miz happy, and it makes me happy. So I'm thinking maybe it's gonna be 3-on-1 at SummerSlam between The Miz, Logan Paul, Tommaso Ciampa against AJ Styles, or maybe just do Styles 1-on-1 with Ciampa. That would be the dream match. I think we're all looking forward to maybe then have the Miz and Logan Paul go after the Usos, but that's gonna be there's no way I think that's gonna happen.
Dude, AJ Styles versus Ciampa to curtain jerk SummerSlam. Come on, that would steal the show.
That would steal the show. Yeah, that would be the hottest thing that you could possibly start that show with. Speaking of starting the show matches, John Smith, the Mysterios in San Diego in the 619. I'm like, wow, they went with the Padres colors, not the Chargers. Oh, that's right. Womp, 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 womp. Oh.
Would have been nice to see some powder blue, though. Those uniforms are so pretty, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I was wondering how the heck are they going to keep Judgment Day strong and have them lose because they're in San Diego. They're not going to have Rain and Sun lose in San Diego. The match went a lot longer than I thought it would. At one point, Dominic went for a 619 and Priest caught him. He was on the outside of the ring. He wasn't the one propped on the ropes. He caught him and it tossed him like a baby against the wall. Dominic doesn't sweat for some reason. He's got Cena's disease. It's weird. He just doesn't sweat. You got the double 619 later on. And then Priest on the outside decides to slide a chair into Balor. Balor and Dominic fight over it. Dominic gets tossed out of the ring by the chair. And then Finn's going to hit Ray with it, and then Ray just does it to Eddie Guerrero. It falls down, and the ref turns around and disqualifies Judgment Day. So that's how we do it. Then we just get a rematch next week between these two.
Yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. Judgment Day, then, they beat up the Mysterios backstage after that. They didn't like the Guerrero hijinks, I guess. So, they probably do that again next week when they're not in San Diego. Go all John Smith. And then Gunther, SmackDown's Intercontinental Champion out of nowhere, showed up. He defeated R-Truth in a match that shouldn't have happened. Truth having some fun for Independence Day, dressed as Uncle Sam, and out comes Gunther. I guess he went to hit Truth the hat off, the top hat, and the referee's asking Truth, are you ready to fight? And Truth's like, no, I'm not ready to fight. I don't want to fight. And they rung the bell anyway. Like, what the hell? Like, I didn't like this. Truth got jobbed out. Anyway, how long was the match? 54 seconds, I believe, was on by John McConney. All right, anyway, doing Truth dirty. So that
we got to get at least one R-Truth World title run before he retires.
Yes, please.
You know what? He should beat John Cena for it too. I think if they ever swing back to John Cena,
childhood idol.
That is exactly that's long-term story. But somebody actually just threw that a meme. I guess long-term storytelling. Apparently, McAfee and Baron Corbin were teammates for the Colts way back when. So
2009, yeah.
I was thinking about this too, James. Once Bobby got it, if we get Gunther and Bobby at Survivor Series, that would be just absolutely incredible. We'll leave it on that high note. As John Smith, John DeConnie, we will bid you adieu for a little bit as we bring in our NXT UK United Kingdom senior correspondent, Gary Mehaffy. Top of the evening to you, Maladi. How are things going? On our text chain, on our group message, we have to do a group message from Facebook, not a text change. You're a little bit long distance for us. The rates are sky high if we text change you long distance. But you're having some fun yesterday for July 4th. No, it's not your holiday, so that was fun to see you do.
That's it. I had messages on my Facebook tonight. A few friends of mine. I think it's like 16 years ago was the first time that I was in the States this week. So it's kind of mad to think that was 16 years ago. But
wow. All right, Gary. So we picked up where we left off with Trent Seven. Just last time we saw him, we said he low blowed Tyler Bate, and by doing that, Trent Seven in this last week said he saved NXT with the most important moment in British sports history, not just sports entertainment, sports history. When he low blowed Tyler Bate a few weeks back, Tyler lost his fighting spirit, while Trent will always do whatever it takes to win. So it was Tyler that changed, not Trent.
Not Trent, no. It was, and it was an interesting twist because I figured at first he would come out and it might be the usual WWE, let's blame the fans, whatever. And I was like, no, he's going to say, I'm right. I have the moral high ground. I was doing what was right. I stayed to see him. I stayed true to myself. And you say it was Tyler, he changed. And then I did think it was interesting that right as he was leaving, they had what they called a fan, obviously was a plant, who jumped over the rail and got a kick in the plums for his troubles. Just to kind of show the mean side that Trent Seven has now. But it's an interesting sort of twist to it because you don't really know how long Tyler Bate's going to be away for. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how long we string it out. But I would love, we've talked before about having them wrestle in Cardiff in September, which would be great. To me, that would be perfect. But we'll see.
You can bring him back. You can bring him back like right after SummerSlam because they have the whole month of August. You got 4 weeks to build to Cardiff because that's the beginning of September. James, a great promo came with more heel Trent Seven. Somebody give that fan an NXT contract. It's funny how I saw there was a backstage exclusive after the incident, and Trent was getting yelled at. No, the fan comes over. That's it. No, you get your ass kicked. I've seen plenty. I saw Randy for the first time. Randy Savage dropped this one fan that hopped into the ring in WCW way back then.
I saw it happen. The way the house show here in Belfast had happened. It was Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair against Edge and somebody. And when Michaels was coming down, somebody came across the barrier and went for Shawn Michaels. Now security got to him first, but you know that Michaels would have just dropped him.
Yeah.
But
during that, I guess Sam Gradwell, approached Trent. Two NXT UK originals. Looks like Sam Gradwell is going to be the first one laying down for the new heel Trent Seven. It looks like Mark Coffey wants to be the one to end Noam Dar's career in a retirement match. In Noam's retirement match from the week before. Looked like Shaw bet on Mark Coffey with 101. I got confused by this. Mark was betting against Noam.
I know.
And he was taking it was 100-1 odds. I guess everybody would take that bet, but what the hell what's going on right now, Gary? Like, is Mark is Shaw gonna rig this? Is he gonna book?
It was interesting to see because there were so many taking it. And you're like, oh no, that he had to kind of make sure not. So it'll be interesting to see the way that it goes. I have my concerns, and as I say, I've said before, I know that the results are out and about, and I haven't looked at them, and I haven't looked at any of the spoilers. I have my worries. I have my worries about the match, but I know we'll talk about that later on. But it'll be.
Yeah, I'm worried right now too. Unfortunately I'm not going to be here next week to talk about this with you. I'm going to be on a boat, but so you'll be discussing the match with Ryan. It's not this Thursday. The UK Heritage Cup match will be July 14th in 2 weeks or a week and a half. But Shaw's going to lose a lot of money if no one wins this, and that's what really concerns me because money is everything. Dan, it's not friendship and loyalty, and they're heels. Like
I could see that playing into it because he's already lost money before on stuff. So that storyline could come back again. So.
Well, I'm sure if he bet on himself because he actually had a match that night as well. He lost to Wolfie, so this whole Gallus versus Noam and Shaw has been somewhat one-sided as of recent. So Wolfgang got the win after that. Buckshot. He did the flip like the Adam Page, like Hangman Page, like a little buckshot spear slam. So that was good athleticism by Wolfie right there. Fallon Henley. We were on kind of on point on this one with Millie. Millie is just getting drugged deeper and deeper and deeper into the L column here, Garrett.
Yeah, I mean you can see that, and then with the backstage segment that took place later on as well. It really was a lot of storyline development for her that she lost. And I actually, there's part of me thought, again, when you put your WWE head on, you think she lost, right? She's going to turn. This will be her snapping. And then you go, no, NXT UK take their time and they let it just breathe. They let things happen. And you can see that Millie wasn't too happy. She took the loss. You can see that she's frustrated. But yet she was kind of, she'd shake her hand, hug her. And then say we came backstage later on with Mako and Sarai and kind of played into it a bit more.
And the weird thing is during the match, and this was great by Millie McKenzie. And if you notice this, when Fallon landed on her knee and the referee wanted to check her out, Millie's like, that was her definition of fighting spirit. It was not letting the opponent get up and recover, and she attacked. And it still didn't work out. And I think that was the frustrating part for Millie is that she thought she was doing the right thing, even though, attacking an injury kind of considered a little heelish. And she even questioned it herself. So, so it still didn't pay off. So it'd be interesting to see where they go from there. And like I said, now when I get into the main event, when I'm assuming it's going to be the main event, Millie's not a part of that right now. So I'm wondering, we'll get to that in a second when we get there. Blair Davenport, Blair. I love the way the UK say her name. Blair Davenport defeated Angel Hayes after a Falcon Arrow. Post-match, no post-match attack. I actually had to cross that out there. Blair let her go. Like, this is the first time she can beat the snot out of somebody after she won.
It was great. I know. I thought she would have as well, just to prove the point, but she did it on the mic instead of in the middle of the ring. So
she said she's going to crush everybody. Yeah, she had one line on the microphone. I'm going to crush everybody's hopes. So Easter egg is she's going to go after Ramal first.
Yeah.
Like, is that it? The French hope?
Mila Grace.
Let's keep Mila away from there for now.
She'll work her way through.
Yeah.
No, but you can see that they brought her back and she'll work her way through. And I think that she'll be the one to eventually topple Mako. But
yeah, James kind of definitely a future champion. Well, James, I know you're chiming in late. She's probably supposed to be the current champion. So that's really. Familia approached Oliver Carter about joining them. Now that he's alone, Ali appeared to be considering it with his initial reaction. Interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I mean, I know I've talked like way back months ago. I said that I figured he would go heel and he would split, and he didn't. Now, I don't think he will, and I think this will try and be them trying to kind of push him as a top singles babyface. But it was certainly interesting that he didn't just blow them off and say no, as you said he was thinking about it. So,
and like I said, they were having a riff at one point a while ago, Ollie and Ashton. And I think Ollie was doing the heel things in that, if I remember correctly. So I guess maybe now would be a good time to pull the trigger. James Wheeler with a question for you, Gary. Your thoughts on John
it's interesting. It's part of the character. I'm like, why? But you know what? If they just let him go there, and when he gets in the ring, if they just let him wrestle, A, he could come across brilliantly, and B, he will absolutely help some of those ones that need a wee bit of seasoning. He's the perfect man to do it. So.
And now, I said new rumors going around. We actually Travis asked us question backstage, so we'll put SpongeBob up. They said it was a fiddle. Who the hell knows? If Hunter's back in control of NXT, I think Jordan Devlin's gonna be fine. So we're finally getting Tiger Turan and Kenny Williams at the request of Tiger Turan in Sid Scala's office. It looked like Kenny had it all figured out. It has to be Amir Jordan. It was the writing was literally on the wall for this one. He's Amir.
I thought it was quite funny that they just outright said it, even in the middle of when he was standing there. Kenny's like, "We know it's Amir Jordan. I know who you are," and I was like, "Okay, you're just." I mean, there's no subtlety here at all, which means they may well like do some sort of wee random swerve sometime during the match, and Amir Jordan comes out in the aisle and waves at him or something, and somebody else appears, but.
That would be incredible. I didn't even think about that. Because Amir Jordan, well, the thing is right now, Gary, for those of you tuning in late to the UK party, Amir Jordan lost a match to Kenny Williams probably about 6, 7, 8 months. It was a while ago. It was a loser leaves NXT UK match, and Amir Jordan lost that. We were thinking like, okay, well, we'll just send him to NXT. This was back when NXT was still, black and gold. And then just let him, fight for the Cruiserweight title. We thought Amir Jordan was just going to go stateside. We haven't seen him since. So, who do you got in the match? I
think, I still think, there's Big Dave, Uncle Dave. Yes, you're right. That's where I was spending my time 16 years ago in Dave's house.
Right.
In Milwaukee. No, I would say Tiger Turan to take it. It's still going to be Kenny Williams being frustrated. So I'm still going to go double T to take it. But
yeah, I'm going to go Tiger Turan as well. It's this whole thing is that Kenny's just a mental mess right now.
Yeah.
And then what I think this has to be the main event. I mean, not just because the champion's involved and Miko Satomura in the women's championship, but I got a beef to pick with our champion right now, Gary, with Miko. Okay, so Saray was getting interviewed during her workout, right? So that's kind of rude to begin with. You don't interrupt somebody's workout, so that's strike one for the NXT UK production team. But they were interrupted by Zaya and Eliza talking smack, and then here comes Mako saying she'll team with Saray to teach Zaya and Eliza a lesson, and then she proceeded to jump in and do the set that Saray was about to do. The hell was that? I mean, I don't go to the gym all too often, but that's just not good gym etiquette right there. What the hell is Miko doing?
I know. I did laugh. I was kind of going. At first, I watched it and thought, was this just a mistake? Did she kind of go, "Oh yes, the weights"? And she went back and was like, "No." You can imagine somebody off camera going, "It wasn't you. It's her.
It was her weights. That was her set. Completely stole her set." So we have a tag team match. Yeah, you know where I'm going, Gary. I said at the beginning of the show, I'm excited. I want to see this again. And like I said, this is just one step closer to Zaya getting that UK championship. A more unbiased pick, Gare, from your end.
No, I'll be honest. I'm going to go Eliza and Zaya to take it as well. And I think what will happen is it'll be a continuation of the Amelia McKenzie, that she'll come out and get involved and say that she's showing her fighting spirit. But what's happened is she either attacks him or she does something wrong, and it's either a DQ or it costs Sarai to get pinned, one of the two. So.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, sometimes when you try too hard, that's when you make the most mistakes. Gary, we're gonna pump the brakes on UK real quick, but we're gonna keep you on because your tag team champions and those belts are now stateside with Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, NXT's version or 2022 version of the Smoking Guns. Pretty Deadly is pretty pissed right now on NXT 2.0. They came out last week and they were not happy that the belts that they held so proudly for so long and just they looked so good in them. Those tasty snacks look so good in those belts. And now you got two, like I said, Brilliant Bart Gunn. Any comments, questions, criticism, concerns here with the feud here? Does maybe
thought it was interesting. I mean, it did like Briggs and Jensen's line where they talked about like we know the heritage here and of these belts, and I thought okay, and it's like they were held by some great tag teams, but one not you, and it's like oh, okay, you're kind of setting down a marker of going we're better than you. I do think that when they have the match, it will be for Pretty Deadly to kind of put them over and make them look good and try and make a statement. But I do think it's really, really nice that they are bringing them across to the States and that they are linking it back into Pretty Deadly to go, hey, they're not ignoring them. They're kind of coming out going, hey, you've got our belts. We lost those and then we came over here. We want those back. So I thought it was a nice little storyline arc.
And then, Gary, as we know tonight, one last thing before we let you go. Tonight is the Great American Bash. Pretty Deadly's now scheduled to fight Brooks and Jensen. Those belts are on the line. We got 4 championship matches, 6 matches total. We got Braun Breaker, Cameron Grimes main eventing. Who do you got? Any picks that you like?
I had Braun Breaker to take it. I'm trying to remember who had gone. I think I have gone for Gigi Dolan in their tag team match for them to go over as well. But no, I think I still have Braun Breaker to kind of go over. I don't know whether we'll end up having a Cameron Grimes heel turn. I don't think we really will, but I think Braun will still take it.
He's on the cusp right now.
Yeah.
He's not caring right now. He just wants to get to the moon. Even though you're not gonna like when you find there. Gary, thank you so much for staying up late and chatting with us. NXT UK, all things UK. Thank you very much. Have a fun time with Ryan next week as you go over the UK Heritage Cup match.
Enjoy your cruise.
Just remind everybody, I got no MDAR, even though I'm scared to death right now about what's going to happen during that match. There's just a lot of money on the line. So, Gary, thank you very much. We will see you next week.
See you later. Have a good.
As we bring back in John Smith, bring back in John DeConnie. And before we usually make the smooth transition from the UK to stateside, that's NXT 2.0 is going to main event the show because of the Great American Bash tonight. So we are going to just go right with Against All Odds because Impact had another Impact Plus special right after Slammiversary. I believe it was only 2 weeks. Like they pulled the trigger on their this special very quickly, and they did it on a Friday up against SmackDown and Rampage. That was a busy night for me and you, John DeConnie.
It certainly was.
Yeah, but before we get to Friday night, there was Thursday night, and the one match that we just want to talk about real quick. John DeConnie, the main event, the match that was 20 years in the making, like the big, it wasn't the big, but a very big X Division feud way back when in the Asylum era and the 6-sided ring era between Chris Sabin and Frankie Kazarian. We got it, 15, 20 years later again.
Yeah, we were supposed to get our Battle of the Futures match a couple weeks ago. That got interrupted by Honor No More. So we finally got it back this past week, and it was everything you wanted. It was almost 22 minutes of these two incredible athletes, even if they are, certainly past the midway of their careers. You couldn't tell in this match because the two of them have such amazing chemistry. And you had Kazarian's wife and son in the front row, and his son had on a T-shirt that said "The Future" on it. And it was fantastic. This was our, winner is us or winner is you moment of the week. And in the end, you had Kazarian kick out of the first cradle shock. But Sabin a few moments later would hit a clothesline from hell, Michigan, and a second cradle shock and get the 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, Shelley joined them in the ring. There was hugs all around. Kazarian got the mic. He got to thank Earl Hebner, who happened to, as we saw at Against All Odds and during those tapings, had been ringside. Brian Hebner, who I believe this was his last match, calling the Sabin Kazarian match.
Yeah, the misinformation that we were. I called that last week. It was really wrong. It was this one.
He thanked Scott D'Amore, his wife and son, and finished up by thanking the fans and one of the unsung heroes in wrestling history who just doesn't get enough credit, his dance partner that evening and many times before, Chris Sabin.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself. Love Chris Sabin. Hail Sabin from way back in I think 2004 is when he debuted for TNA. He won the X Division Championship on his impacted way back when. He won the X Division Championship on his first night in the company, I think.
Nice.
I think he beat Sonny Siaki. I don't remember who he beat for. Maybe Sonny Siaki. So that would do it. Everything else leaked into Against All Odds, and we'll get right into it. Josh Alexander did the unthinkable. Unfortunately, John Smith, I'll throw this at you first. We didn't get the big overcoat. This was, I screenshotted a picture real quick. This was his actual entrance from Against All Odds. No bearskin, no big poofy coat. Just a regular old fur coat that he wore each and every week. He didn't really celebrate being in the main event and for the one and only time he's challenging for the world title. So it's unfortunate. We had some good ideas for him, but
and that's how you knew he wasn't winning. That was
exactly
that was lose face right there.
John DeConnie, take us through the match really quick. That was a hard-hitting match. They hit the crap out of each other.
Yeah, that was Joe Doring showing up, and he just had a regular old cracker. So Doring and Josh put on a very Japanese match where they just chopped and slapped and punched and kicked the hell out of each other for, almost 16 minutes. Doring escaped the ankle lock multiple times. And in the end, when, was he going to go back to the ankle lock again? I know I was the idiot who said that Doring was going to tap, but I didn't necessarily mean he was going to say, oh, God, please let me go. I thought maybe he might pass out. I thought maybe he might, fail for a standing 8 count because he couldn't get up on the foot, even though he got out of the ankle lock multiple times. No, he got up after breaking out of the ankle lock for the second or the third time, and Josh kicked him in the gut and dropped him on his head with a C4 spike. 1, 2, 3. Joe Doring counts the lights for the first time since, I think they said, mid-2019?
Yeah, in all Japan, yeah. Has that ever happened before? Does somebody, break a submission and then just not be able to answer the 10 count? That'd be a very poetic way to lose instead of just, passing out or whatever. Has that ever happened?
I not that I can remember, but I'm trying to help them out here. I'm trying to write for them. They're just not paying attention.
That's a very.
We know the WWE is watching the show. Apparently, Impact isn't.
Interesting. I spy another Jersey girl, although in a losing effort. Jordan Grace defeated Tasha Steelz in their Impact Knockouts Championship rematch. The Grace driver to retain the title, but damn it, if Tasha didn't give everything she absolutely had in that match, Tasha shined in a losing effort. She was going after Jordan. I think it was an early. I think she jumped in before the bell, and she had the advantage for a majority of the match. And she just couldn't put Jordan away. Jordan too big, too strong, too powerful. So, albeit in a losing effort, we are hashtag Jersey proud. Tasha Steelz, good work. John Smith, a lot of fun seeing Raven again. That is old TNA music. It was good to see. What about Raven?
Yeah, Raven was always one of my favorites back in the day. But this what was it called again? The House of something?
Clockwork Orange House of Fun match.
Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. But holy crap, did they have a lot of fun, or at least Sammy did. It was smart by Moose to press C right a couple times to get his alternate outfit. Because if he was out there in just his underwear, things would have been a lot bloodier than they ended up being. But, at one point we got staples to the head, stapled to Moose's nuts, and then she tried to get the referee. He tried to pull the referee over to help him with that. The referee was like, "No, get away from me! I don't want anything to do with that."
But Raven said nards. What Raven called him something old school too.
He said, that was very ¡90s commentary by Raven the whole time. And I feel like he was either really high or a little bit drunk. He just sounded way too relaxed. But at one point we got 2 boxes of fun poured out, 1 box of Legos by Moose, 1 box of broken beer bottles by Sammy, who earlier in the match smashed got his beer bottle smashed over his head by Moose and sliced open with the remains. Moose ended up taking a pile driver on both the Legos and the glass. And then Sammy, instead of going for the pin, is going for the barbed wire bat. And then all of a sudden, a cameraman low blows him from behind. And it's Steve Macklin when he pulls off the mask or whatever. He was wearing a face covering. And then he hits him with the barbed wire bat. Spear by Moose. 1, 2, 3. Moose wins.
Yeah, and it's over. Now we're gonna go with Macklin and Sammy, I guess, going forward for all these gimmick matches. Which what haven't we had recently from Sammy here, John DeConnie?
I don't know what they could pull out of their backside now, but I'm sure it'll be magically delicious.
Yep.
I think they could do an exploding ring match.
Yeah. Backstage before their 10-man tag, Vincent went to bat for PCO after PCO ate the pin at Slammiversary. So Eddie, being the coach he is, he made the substitution. He trusted Vincent's opinion, and he subbed out Vincent, put in PCO, and it didn't really work. And all the swerves for Chris Harris, swerving James Storm and everybody, they didn't come to pass as America's Most Wanted hit the death sentence. You haven't seen that in a very long time. On Kenny King, chalked up the win for that team. I think there was a little PCO altercation during the match. I think Eddie tagged himself in when PCO didn't want to get tagged out at the point. So there was a small riff. Hopefully doesn't. I mean, I guess PCO can land on his own. They can lose one guy, right? They got 6 of them, right? They only need 5. But backstage interview, Heath wants more retribution. That's an exact quote. Heath wants more retribution. So he's going to go get T-Bar, Mace, and Slapjack presented by Popeye's Chicken Sandwich and take out Honorable More one at a time. We haven't had the Popeye's Chicken Sandwich joke in a while, so I just had to sneak that in there. Taya and Rosemary defeated Tennille Dashwood and Giselle Shaw. Giselle, I guess, is she an official member of the Influence? I don't think they were announced as the Influence as the team name. But roll-up. Check one up for Ty Valkyrie on that one, on Tennille Dashwood. Post-match attack by all 3 members of the Influence. Once that was done, Post-Woman Slamovich, call that right, delivered some mail to the Influence, and it was a red X over, I guess what we can assume was Tennille's face, because Tennille was the one that received the letter. And that's not good for the Influence if Masha Slamovich, there you go, is going to be coming after them. That's not going to be good. And then match of the year candidate right here, Motor City Machine Guns. They defeated Ace Austin and Chris Bay of the Bullet Club. That match, there was another double team maneuver by the Machine Guns to win the match. I have no idea how to describe it to you, so I'm not going to try. So it was incredible, and it got them down for the 3 count. So good for them. On the pre-show, we had a combat match where we got this one wrong. Brian Myers defeated Rich Swann after the roster cut. And it wasn't to win back the Digital Media Championship. They were saying this was a championship rematch, but Myers was never champion. He just had possession of the belt. But now he's the official champion. And then post-match interview during the actual show, it's big game season hunting for Rich Swann. In an interview with Gia, Swann was upset that he was being a short-lived champion. Approached by Raj Singh, who said Shira now has his sights set on Rich Swann after what happened on BTI last week. BTI, of course, stands for being the elite. We got a couple matches they announced today for Thursday's edition of Impact Wrestling. Before we do that, there was the X Division Championship match. It's going to leak into 2 of those matches. So John Smith, the next 2 matches that we're going to discuss, I know they were both very high on your radar. The first one being the X Division Championship with Mike Ballspeed Bailey.
Yeah, Ballbag looked really good in this one. How much whiter can his teeth get? I feel like I'm going to go blind every time I watch him. I feel like he's wearing a mouthpiece. And then when they get up close, it's like that's actually his teeth. But I mean, this match had pretty much everything except for blood. They were all over each other, high flying over the ropes, lots of submissions, lots of selling of the submissions after the fact. Some weird ass flamingo driver flipping thing where he was holding Trey's foot behind his back that was crossed over his other leg. It was a whole thing, and it flips him over. Like, why couldn't you just do it without holding that foot? But either way, it looked cool and took him out with a move I never seen before. So I like that.
Yeah. I liked my wife told me she told me the other day, she's like, you have to stop pretending to be a flamingo. So that's when I put my foot down. Anyway, so with that, there's an X Division Championship match on Thursday. Speedball Mike Bailey, his name right at least once during this. I'm doing it on purpose now, and now it's transitioning into habit.
Like
Speedball
Borkin
Mike
and
Bailey
Lurch.
will defend the X Division Championship, John DeConnie, against Alan Angels. I guess formerly of the Dark Order. I guess you're saying, so you're hearing rumors and speculations done. I guess maybe Travis can confirm that when he comes on. But
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a Forbidden Door thing or if I am mistaking Alan Angel's contract situation for being the same as Stu Grayson's. But anyway, welcome to Impact Wrestling. I'm sure this will be a hell of a match that will make Angels look great. And in the end, Bailey will still get the 1, 2, 3.
John Smith, I got to go with Eric Bischoff. Are you seeing it more now that after I said that this is probably what Eric Bischoff dreamed he could be if he was a pro wrestler? Like he's the karate thing too. Like remember Bischoff was a black belt too, right? He was always.
See, I was never much of like I didn't watch WCW, so like I don't know Bischoff like you guys do. You know, like I saw him on Raw a little bit, but not really. You know,
Okay.
that was. But you know, I remember like the 3-minute warning stuff and all that. And HLA.
Oh, that was yeah. HLA and Raw Roulette were Bischoff's two big things. Oh, actually, an Elimination Chamber too. Right? That was his.
I was actually at the first Elimination Chamber at Survivor Series in 2002.
Wow.
That was pretty cool. What am I picking? Oh yeah, I'm picking Ball Bag.
Okay, who's Eugene's relative? Travis. Travis. Trying to private chat.
Probably Ezekiel and Elias.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
That's his Down syndrome brother.
Yeah. Eugene, he was good too. That was funny. He was good. With that, the other part of the X Division Championship match at Slammiversary is Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel is going to be going up against the Laredo Kid, who John Smith, he's match of the year candidate for you. Laredo Kid versus Black Taurus on the kickoff on the countdown show.
That was unbelievable. I mean, Taurus dominated most of it, but like all the times Laredo Kid got his stuff in, it was very impactful, and it was an awesome match. I feel like it was match of the night, even with that. I loved the speedball match. I loved the Moose match that I went over, and the main event was awesome too. But I mean, Black Taurus and Laredo Kid, holy crap!
So we got Laredo Kid going against Trey Miguel, John Smith on Thursday.
Well, they both just lost, but I feel like Trey Miguel's the better wrestler, so I'll give it to him.
Yeah, it seems like Trey needs a bounce back after that loss. That was a big redemption thing for Mike Bailey, John DeConnie, because that was the one loss I guess on Bailey's resume since he joined Impact.
Yeah, exactly. Trey had pinned him. He'd been the only one to do so. So Trey had to eat that one, but I think he gets a win here against Laredo Kid in what I think we all assume is going to be a hell of a match, regardless of who gets the victory.
Yeah, yep, this it will be. And then I spy another Jersey girl, and everybody betted against her. I bet on her. I even question it, but like, you know what? No, the points are always going to go on Deonna Purrazzo as her and Chelsea Green defeated Mickie James and Mia Yim after a heart attack neck breaker that I will say needs a little bit of work. They need to work on that movie. Say that. So big win for Deonna over Mickie James. Thank God, Mickie James is the thorn on her side, but now Mia Yim's going to be the thorn on Thursday. Deonna Purrazzo has one-on-one match with Mia Yim, John Smith.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to go with Mia on this one. Sorry, Jersey.
Oh, John DeConnie.
I mean, I'll say Deonna because it's not for points, but I'm assuming this is where we start to build for Mia Yim to go after the Knockouts champion.
Yeah, right. So I'm always going to go with Deonna, even when there's no points on the line. So, so now we're going to make the switch. Overall, it is an absolute, just a barn burner sleeper show by Impact. Absolutely incredible cover to cover. They just got to stop putting them on Friday nights and trying to go up against SmackDown. And then Rampage, which was a barn burner, started out like that was right on that one. So as we do that, actually, gentlemen, I'm going to pull you off screen just for 2 seconds. The graphic I have actually has Travis on top here, so I got to make sure I get my ducks in a row. So just give me 1 second, 2, 3, 4. Travis, how are things going today, pal?
Doing well. Great to be back as always.
Yeah, always glad to have you back, Trav. You know, Ryan's on assignment right now. I guess raiding pizza shops up in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, he's like 20 minutes away from me, but here I am doing God's work for him. So I think I should get some OT pay here. He's on vacation in my town, and here I am with the rest of the knuckleheads.
Yes.
It's what we do for family. It's all about family, like
That's
Dominic
what it is. You gotta
Toretto.
put up- exactly. You got to
It's
put
all
up for
about
it.
family.
Before we get into AEW Rampage, it was AEW was Rampage on Friday night. It was preceded by the greatest minute or so in cinematic history, where Darth Vader went on a rampage. Maybe that's why they showed it, trying to get back the readouts to the Death Star at the end of Rogue One. Couple that with the recent Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader, the greatest villain, in the history of villainy. And speaking of good villains, Travis, the Young Bucks are tag team champions. They're actually a little sad and lonely at the moment. Oh, you got Vader as a tattoo. There you go. I guess you're not gonna get any arguments out of you on that one. The Young Bucks were a little sad and lonely. Now that Adam Cole is off TD and Bobby Fish is off TD.
It's interesting. I don't think we're going to put the AEW roster graphic up this week, because I'll tell you what, if that roster wasn't that deep, they wouldn't have anybody out here wrestling.
Yeah, right. That's but they still had to go to another company to find opponents, because Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, they were still stateside. So screw it. Non-title, whatever.
Non-title match, Bucks match. I think they were the last one stateside, because a lot of the New Japan guys have already been back across. It's interesting because the Okada post press conference was pretty insane. He actually kind of gave a shot to the Tokyo Dome fans and said, "Boy, I hope someday that our crowds get to be as energetic as the American crowds. Someday we'll get there." And there was a lot of really good things and a lot of heat that came out from New Japan, including Tetsuya Naito being very angry and upset to not be on the show, or not even be asked to be on the show. Now, originally it was supposed to be Andrade Naito, which would have been a hell of a match for sure, but New Japan can't work things out with AAA, so we can't see that match just yet. But this match was it's Bucks versus Goto and Hashi. They're fine wrestlers. Goto was better 10 years ago when he was winning G1s and things like that. And this was a fine Bucks match, and I think it turned out exactly the way we thought that it was going to go.
Yeah, so I kind of gave it a little bit, because it was like, okay, the Bucks were like, well, no, it's not going to be a tag title match. They have to earn that. I'm like, okay, well, and remember, this is not WWE, so screw it. Travis, before we continue, I forgot, I wanted to wait to make sure you were on screen for this. You are still winning. You are winning Impact right now. You all did actually very well, 7-1. Ryan won the show by 1 point. John Smith went 5-3. There was no Money in the Bank cash-ins for Impact, so John Smith couldn't get any extra points that way.
Yeah.
But we're all got a nice little race going there, and then we got Emergence coming up again on Friday. And
I don't know if it's a compliment that I'm sharing headspace with Scott D'Amore, but I'll take the W's where I can get them.
We got one match to pick on Rampage. Travis, we'll leave it to you with the Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham. He's going to team with Lee Moriarty against Tully Blanchard's The Gates of Agony. Who's educate us? I have no idea.
Very interesting tag team. So Gates of Agony, you've got one guy who is actually, he has not wrestled for very long. He's a power lifter, and that's Toa Leona. Not a lot of experience there. Khan, who used to be Jasper Khan, has had some ROH experience and came over. And actually, oddly enough, and people give heat where they want to, but this is sort of a tag team that was built off of their appearances on Dark. They came through the Dark system, and like before ROH was going on and stuff, they sort of built themselves out of Dark, and then they showed up at this the Ring of Honor show, and you throw Tully on the top of it, throw Brian Cage on the top of it, and we've got a faction ready to go. They remind me of Gorillas of Destiny. They remind me of the old Head Shrinkers and a younger kind of take. They're kind of powerhouses, which is interesting because you've got these powerhouse guys against very technical Jonathan Gresham, Lee Moriarty, more into the catch-as-catch-can style and stuff. So this is a really hard match to call outside of Gresham's got the world title. So I don't see them going over, and AEW doesn't do disqualifications. Like, to me, this is the perfect match where you have Brian Cage come down, interfere, Nobody has to worry about it. This is obviously building towards Death Before Dishonor that's coming up at the end of the month here. So I don't even know who to call because you got both builds and you can't have somebody lose. So it's sort of weird. If I had to have it, if I was doing this for points, yeah, maybe we'll see a roll up. Although maybe I don't know. This just feels like there should be interferences and crap all over the place.
Yeah.
So if I had to call this, I'll call it for Gresham and Moriarty. But I think Gates of Agony are going to look strong here and continue to kind of get those eyeballs on this table and sell those buys at the end of the month.
Yeah, John the Conner, they don't do disqualifications or countouts, and that's great, but they do roll-ups a lot.
They sure do. Yeah, I think with Death Before Dishonor coming, and you're going to have a build there, obviously your champion's not going to eat a pin, but that's why Lee Moriarty is part of this.
Yeah.
So I think to try and establish, okay, we already know who Jonathan Gresham is. Let's establish Tully Blanchard Enterprises and let his guys go over with some kind of outside interference or some kind of hanky-panky, but Moriarty's the one who eats the pin.
John Smith, you're a fan of hanky-panky.
Yeah. I'll go with Jesus Christ.
He's not on the card.
Threw me off, man.
Yeah.
With that hanky-panky thing. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, wait, John just said hanky-panky. Okay. Give me, I don't know. I like Moriarty taking the pin. How about that?
There you go. Sounds good. And that'll take us to AEW. I didn't take all. Oh, I did take all. This will take us to AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite. Travis! You had blood and guts. And I do believe Deshaun Whipple, friend of the show, was actually in attendance for it.
Yeah, I think I saw some pictures of him from there. Yeah, so blood and guts. I don't love the match. I'll be honest. I don't love the style of the match. I know what the match is supposed to be. I know it's supposed to be a War Games tribute, and I'm familiar with War Games. But man, does this thing take long to get there? And I don't start caring about the match until everybody's in and there's a potential for a finish. And it feels like it builds towards sort of the same finish. I wish there was some sort of I wish I was concerned about somebody getting pinned or DQ'd or tapped out in the middle of the match as a way to kind of just give me a reason why I'm watching somebody who's going to be stuck in that match getting the crap beat out of them the entire time. That said, I felt like the flow of this was a little bit better. It's the second time through it. I thought the match was much better than the original Blood and Guts because there were some stop starts that happened and everybody was kind of standing in the middle of the ring a couple of times with the other one. So the flow was definitely better. I thought the performance was better. The stakes were better. The spot off the top of the cage was better. Shotzi didn't even have to comment on Sammy falling through the tables this time. So that was good. Overall, we had a lot of weapons, thumbtacks, glass shards, tables, the wooden frame of the ring, rubbing alcohol, steel chairs, kendo sticks, fire extinguisher, a baseball bat. We had everything that we needed for Blood and Guts, and ends with Daddy Magic getting tapped out by Claudio. So a big week for Claudio. He beats Zack Sabre Jr. and Forbidden Door, and then he comes and he wins Blood and Guts 4 days later or whatever. That's a hell of a start to your AEW career. But fine match. Santana got hurt. There's some rumors that Santana and Ortiz are not getting along really well. If you see at the end of the match, he got genuinely hurt during the match, so he didn't make the climb up the cage and stuff. And one of the interesting kind of anecdotes that came out of that is John Moxley's not a huge fan of heights, and neither is Bryce Remsburg. So John was getting ready to go up and said to Bryce, "You got to raise our hands up there. You afraid of heights?" And Bryce said, "Yeah, I can't stand him." And John said, "Let's just go up there and do this thing together." So they kind of dragged each other up the cage to put him up on the top to be in that spot to be able to do that. So kind of a cool thing to do. Not the most masculine thing to be able to admit to and say, but the reality of it is there. So overall, perfectly fine, but I just feel like it's a long drawn out match. The Royal Rampage was more exciting to me in terms of match style than this one, because it just doesn't feel like there's any it doesn't matter what the cadence of the guys coming out for. Nothing's going to happen to him. You can put him into a coma. You could decapitate him. It doesn't matter. You can't pin the guy until the last guy's in anyway. So I wish they would change the style and the format of the match a little bit.
Yeah,
decapitation match.
I was actually a couple things here. James Wheeler, yeah, the match was absolutely brutal. This would change the perspective of his wrestling career. I remember the scars. Yep. John Connie, I was thinking about you during the match because they repeatedly said the match is not official until the last man's in. Like, I wonder if his stopwatch is going. And then I see 46 minutes and whatever seconds on the ticket on the bottom.
That was the whole thing. The opening bell did not ring to allow them to start being able to pin one another until 27 minutes and 50 seconds.
So they still went close to 20 minutes after everybody went in. Jesus. I forget what my third point was, but whatever. Oh, no.
Jericho's 0-2 now. 0-2.
Yeah.
They
looked great.
0-2. They did look
Jericho appreciation style looked great. Eddie Kingston pissed. Eddie Kingston
Van Halen
pissed.
Red was good.
He wanted the win. That against Claudia, he couldn't make. He wanted to win, not really the win for the team, but he wanted Jericho to tap, and that was the big thing for him. And he was pretty pissed at it. He kind of let it slide because they got the win, and everyone was a bloody mess on top of the cage. So maybe I know there was a past history with Claudio Castagnoli and Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, there is. It's interesting because all these old school ROH guys that they bring in, anytime they bring in anybody from the company, then Eddie's got past history with him because he had a shit attitude to some extent and was rough to work with occasionally, and was, some of the guys that were more over than him probably legitimately did treat him like shit. So Eddie can kind of carry that on, and like, not for nothing, Eddie's gotten shit on a lot of his career, and it's his personality and it's the way that he carries himself that's kind of put him in the spot that he's in now. And he can thank Billy Corgan and NWA for giving him the ability to cut those promos to put the attention in front of AEW to get him on bigger TV and bigger screens. Great worker, good guy, works in old school style. Fantastic character.
All right. There was an interview with Christian Cage, another gem by Christian, while rocking another amazing black turtleneck. When it was all said and done, he's got a new pet, Travis.
Yeah, straight out of Evil Bizarro World, Jurassic World. Down to the ring comes a new reimagined Luchasaurus. Not something that I was expecting, and I don't know as anybody else was expecting it either, which makes it kind of fun. I did appreciate Christian in the background changing his logo from Outwork Everyone to Worked Everyone on the bottom. Very nice throwback on the team there. They don't do graphics awesome all the time, but that was pretty good. Yeah, Luchasaurus came out and kind of did a complete savaging, but was reticent or hesitant to go back in the ring and continue to do the deed on the guy afterward. So we'll see how much actual control or whatever we've got Christian Cage for this. Maybe we're going to see the setup of evil Luchasaurus going through the process, and then in the end he saves his old friend Jungle Boy to come back when the chips are down. Luchasaurus is 1,000 times more interesting to me now than he was a week ago, because now he's got this different character, and we've never seen bad guy Luchasaurus. And Christian Cage is obviously 1,000 times the performer in a heel role as he is in a face role. It's been that way his entire career.
Yeah, they're going to have a segment on Wednesday night as well on Dynamite, so we'll probably find out maybe what's controlling Luchasaurus, if we ever do. I know Marco's name was mentioned a little bit ago, so maybe we'll see what happens in there. John the show started with All Ego Ethan Page and Orange Cassidy with some new gear with the Best Friends.
Yeah, Orange Cassidy has some new entrance music, and the Best Friends were actually back together. We had Chucky T there as well. They had a very nice tie-dye ensemble going on. Then Dan Lambert got them tossed because they don't hold managers' licenses in the state of Michigan. So what are you going to do? But I have a question for you, Karl.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Have you ever confused Ethan Page with Andre the Giant?
There was one time I remember John Smith and I were watching a match. I thought it was Ethan Page, but it turns out he corrected me right away.
Well, apparently Orange Cassidy did, because they were in Detroit Rock City, which is 25 to 30 miles away from the old Pontiac Silverdome. So Orange Cassidy was basically reenacting WrestleMania 3 in this match.
Good catch. Good catch.
Multiple times going for the scoop slam and not being able to do it. And then after about 11 minutes of back and forth between these two, which was very enjoyable to watch, 2 orange punches and a devastating scoop slam. and the 1-2-3 for Orange Cassidy.
No leg drop?
No leg drop. That was the one thing missing to complete.
It's trademarked.
But
there
afterwards,
was
Cassidy and the best friends did give the people what they want.
exactly. I said there was a hug by best friends because post match because Danhausen and two mystery partners, they had to go against Max Caster and the Gun Club. Turned out to be FTR. Good choices by Danhausen. Not only is he very nice, also very evil. Pretty smart, too. A smart move by them, yeah. Bowens miraculously arose from his wheelchair. He swung his crutch at Danhausen. He missed, and he hit, I believe it was Colton. There was a post-match disagreement, and Billy sided with the Acclaimed and not his kids. So now that Anthony Bowens is active, I guess it's going to be interesting. Maybe we get a Gun Club versus the Acclaimed with Billy. Yeah, it's going to be Scissor Me Daddy. There you go. See what happens with that. This was interesting for the TBS Championship. Jade Cargill defeated Layla Gray, I believe her name was. After Jaded to retain the title, post-match, Jade wants better competition, calls Statlander and Athena lazy, which sparked the brawl between everybody. And then Layla Gray ended up siding with Jade Cargill. I guess she kept it, Sisters in Christ, she kept it PG during her performance for Stokely Hathaway. To see what you were saying with B. Priestley, this is Malcolm Bivens is going to be a tough one for me to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
So and then it seems like she's going to be joining the baddies while Red Velvet is on IR. Jay Lethal is still waiting on Samoa Joe, wants a TV title and ROH TV Championship match at Death Before Dishonor. So nice little Easter egg for that. Start getting that pay-per-view up and running. Hopefully some more matches and more things build for the Ring of Honor relaunch at the end of the month. Layla Gray was also the one who fought Raquel Rodriguez and got kissed by Lothario. Oh, she was the one that appeared, 2 shows in one night. I think she was on Dark, and then she was getting kissed by the Lotharios. Very nice.
Nice.
Cool. We got 4 matches, I believe. 4 matches. Yes, 4 matches to pick for Dynamite on tomorrow night. Toni Storm on Rampage. She defeated Nyla Rose after a thunderous DDT. And then speaking of Thunder, a post-match attack by Marina Shafir was thwarted by Thunder Rosa. So they're going by the tag team name of Thunderstorm. Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm, they're going to be taking on Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir, John Connie.
Well, I mean, you come up with a gimmick name like that. How do you not go with Thunderstorm? Come on.
John Smith.
Thunderstorm.
Liquid Hits.
Their theme music, Thunderstorm's theme music is going to be cake, 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 cake. That's lingo for butts, by the way, Al.
There you go. There you go. That works. Travis.
I thought they do AC/DC Thunderstruck. But I'll go contrarian, and I'll say Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir. I don't like how they booked Marina Shafir so far, in that she's lost every time she's wrestled, basically. She has to get a win somewhere here. It doesn't hurt either of them to kind of take a loss here. I think the win is more important to establish Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir kind of being on the same page. I don't know. This Marina Shafir team, Nyla Rose teams feels a lot to me like Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, which worked pretty well in WWE. The presentation is very similar, and it could be good. So it feels like sometimes Tony decides that he wants to try to do things better for whatever reason. So I don't know. I think I could see them winning this to kind of establish that and move into something else.
There was a backstage interview with both Scorpio Sky and Wardlow. The talking is done. The TNT Championship match will be Wednesday, and Scorpio wants it in a street fight, Travis, which just seems to me that he's got a plan.
Yeah, he probably does. Wardlow hasn't been on TV or hasn't fought since the what did he beat? 35 security guards or whatever. Yes. I don't know. It's interesting because we can have Sky be I can win the big one, but I can't hold the title. That could be his gimmick for a little while here. He didn't have the title very long last time, and I just don't see a good way to get this to be Sky's victory over Wardlow, and I don't know if you want to slow that truck down, honestly, especially with all the shit that's going on with interim titles and that kind of crap. I don't know where you go off of this, so I'll take Wardlow with the win and grabbing the belt.
All right. John Smith, the Scorpio's got a plan, but it's having a plan and executing a plan. You know how to take the reservation.
Well, Mike Tyson will tell you about everybody's got a plan until you get power bombed in the middle of the ring.
Yep.
Nice Seinfeld reference, by the way, Al.
I
I know what a reservation is. I don't think you do.
You do. You're good at taking them.
So I'm going to go with Scorpio here. I think they're going to make us wait for Wardlow a little bit because we want it so bad and we assume it's going to happen like right away. Obviously with plenty of help from Dan Lambert's crew, with the American Top Team, I think it's called, right? Maybe just like stacking a bunch of stuff on him to make him stay down. Who knows? But eventually he'll win it, but I don't think it's going to be on TV.
All right, John Connie.
Yeah, I think you don't have Scorpio get this nice brand new custom made belt and name it after Jeannie Buss, and then he gives it up this quick. At least I hope not. We all know where Wardlow's headed, but I think they'll tease us for a little while. And like Smith said, I think American Top Team might be out in full force, and Scorpio Sky, by hook or by crook, retains.
I'm just waiting for Scorpio Sky to debut in WWE as Jinder Mahal's younger brother, Jangle.
Jangle Mahal.
Jangle Mahal. They look so similar. He looks like a bald Jinder.
Interesting, fun concept on Friday Night Rampage going up against the Impact World Championship. Royal Rampage, they took a little bit of the Royal Rumble. They took a little bit of War Games. Not War Games, World War III from the old WCW days. They had separate rings, separate Rumbles. It's kind of like a small tournament. You throw the brackets in there if you want to do it that way. But, the two winners fought, and an overtop thing was a lot of fun. And, wow, Brody King. Holy crap. So he's going to be the one from House of Black to challenge Jon Moxley, and I skipped the match before we get to that one because the reason why I wanted to mention Royal Rampage first, John the Connie, the Butcher and the Blade shined in that match, and whatever that far ring color was, the Butcher and the Blade were cleaning house until the very end. They have a match with Swerve in Our Glory. So is this the relaunch of the Butcher and the Blade on Dynamite?
Jeez, I'd love to see it, but I thought if Swerve and Their Glory were going to lose, it was going to be at Forbidden Door because you could put the Japanese team over and you could have them start kind of arguing with each other. But if they got the victory there, I think they take out the Butcher and the Blade here.
All right. Travis.
Butcher and Blade are Buffalo natives, so they will have a lot of people in that crowd in Rochester cheering for them. It's interesting because you saw a little bit of miscommunication with Scott and with Swerve and with Lee in the match against New Japan, where he punted him kind of off the side. So this could be another situation where something happens between the two of them, where Butcher and the Blade end up getting the pin, and they don't mind paying off the hometown crowd here. I just don't know where you go with Butcher and the Blade after the victory. Maybe they're lining them up. I don't think they fought against FTR, so this could be something that kind of moves them into there. The rankings seem like they've been thrown out the window lately. We haven't seen many of those graphics around. And maybe it's just another one of these, they end up getting the cheap pin, or we do a roll-up on somebody here because there's some miscommunication between Lee and Swerve and it falls apart. So I'll take Butcher and Blade for the semi-hometown guys.
John Smith.
That sounds about right to me. I'll go with the Butcher and the Blade.
There you go. And then we have the AEW, the Interim World Championship. Jon Moxley, Brody King won the Royal Rampage. So Brody's going to have the first crack. Maybe I thought they were going to save it for some type of Wednesday special. I'm saying put Brody King and all out. But they're going to do it right away. They're just going to pull the trigger on it. We're going to have it. Moxley has a week after Blood and Guts. Brody King went through about 20 people or 10 people on one side of the ring, plus the 11th. So they both had a rough week, John Smith. You think Brody King can shock the world. Take out Wild Thing.
No, but I think he'll make a damn good effort. So I'm looking at this to go at least 15 minutes, and they'll have us believing for a second, possibly.
Yeah, we got some name punching for you, John Smith, specifically. You got Dallas Hypothesis, Houston Ideology, and Laredo Thesis, our Austin Theory's younger brothers.
Okay.
All right.
Good stuff.
Travis.
I would agree with John as far as this one goes, in that I think this is the, for those that are not overly familiar with Brody King, I think you're going to see this be his Wheeler Yuta moment. I think Moxley fighting under giant guys like he did in his previous title reign is the best Moxley we get to see. Man, was that elimination on Darby brutal from Brody King too. So I think ultimately I was with you too. I was surprised we moved right into this match this week. That tells me that probably Punk's timetable is a little faster than what they had thought. Because I think what this might build to Malachi Black Moxley. And I think if anybody takes the title off of Mox in this time before it gets to Punk, it would be Black versus Punk.
All right, so that will take us from Wednesday Night Dynamite into the main event of our show right now, NXT 2.0. Get excited. We got the Great American Bash tonight. Before we get there, though, John Smith last week, Nikita Lyons, we know your girl is back. We thought it was going to be in action. We did not know in action was the NXT Women's Champion in a non-title match.
Yeah, they had some words for each other backstage. She's got a little work to do, I think Nikita does on her talking. But we ended up with them in the ring together. I had the lights down, I had the candles on, don't worry. And
little lotion.
Yeah. Hey, leave that to the imagination, all right, Travis? This match didn't really get much traction before the Toxic Attraction got involved. We got a nice drop kick off the top rope by Mandy Rose on Nikita at one point. Nikita was kept doing this god awful hip toss to Mandy. She did it 3 times in a row. It was like, look like crap the first time. Why'd you do the next 2?
Not as liquidity.
Yeah, there was no over. It was just like she went sideways. Anyway,
not liquid.
You got the looks. You still got some work to do, though, Nikita.
It's like flopping a buckshot lariat twice.
Yeah, Toxic Attraction gets involved. DQ win for Nikita. Cora and Roxy come out and make the save. Cora in her Sparky Plug outfit, which was a nice little homage to Hardcore Holly. But it looks like we're going to be getting 3-on-3 at some point, right? Maybe
maybe after the championship matches tonight. Last week also, Senga defeated Zion Quinn after a choke slam. Later on in the evening, Solo Sikoa was pissed about losing to Grayson Waller the week prior. Apollo Crews was telling him that things are going to be okay. Enter Zion Quinn, and for like the second or third time in recent memory, he's being awfully cocky after coming off an L. So Crews told Quinn his future doesn't look so bright, meaning he wants to fight Quinn just like everyone Crews has been coming into contact with lately. So look forward to that happening. John the Connie, talk nerdy to me. Kiana James.
Yes, indeed. Kiana James took on Indy Hartwell, and they had a nice brief back and forth. It was a sub 4-minute match, but the ladies got to shine a little bit, and Indy missed a slingshot pretty savage that I really enjoyed, except for the fact that she didn't manage to stick it. And then James I think the ending was maybe a little bit botched. She just kind of hit a double leg takedown, and that's usually the spot where you flip into a jackknife cover. She didn't. She just stacked her up and cha-ching, roll up 1, 2, 3 for Kiana James.
John Smith. They killed 2 dimes.
They killed 2 dimes. They're not even discreet about it. You'd think that he would be smart enough to get the cameraman away. Before. I mean, he made him not, erase the beginning of the footage, I guess. But come on.
Apparently 2 dimes challenged his authorities, and now he's sleeping with the fishes. You don't cross Tony Fish, you dish. Speaking of, I guess here's the real. I am a real Italian. Giovanni Vici defeated Iki Manjiro. You know what the square thing is? 4th of July. I usually have a listening, like a viewing of Real American. I didn't do it this year. Giovanni Vici defeated Iki Manjiro after that spinning sit-down last ride powerbomb. Victoria. And then Lash Legend proclaimed that she ended Alba Fire's career last week by hitting her with the baseball bat. I call that a flat-out false accusation. So that's going to take us into tonight, into the Great American Bash. Here are the overall standings heading into the Bash after 11 points. John Smith and myself had a great week last week. Still, we caught up. Still got some more work to do. Got the Bash tonight. We got Death Before Dishonor at the end of the month before SummerSlam, and that's when points are going to be at a premium. So Ryan Joyce sitting comfortably on top of the list right now. As far as NXT goes, I got a 1-point lead on Ryan and a 3-point lead on Travis. John Smith, as a senior NXT correspondent, get your head out of your ass.
Hey, I called the cash in.
You call the cat. Scoring for tonight's show, it's going to be 5 points for the NXT Championship match, 3 points for all the titles, 1 for the non-title match. And if you go perfect, you get the Henning, which we haven't done in a while. Ryan Joyce still is the only one of the season so far, way back at Backlash. You get the 5 bonus points. Last week on NXT 2.0, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, they defeated Katana Chance and Kaden Carter after Pop Rocks on Katana to earn the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship opportunity tonight against Toxic Attraction. On a side note, Katana and Kaden were pissed off in the locker room backstage. They stormed around for a bit. Tatum Paxley giving them some looks that Kaden didn't appreciate. We'll get to that probably starting next week. But we have a Tag Team Championship match tonight, John Smith. Who do you got? Cora and Roxanne are red hot right now.
The only reason I'm picking Toxic Attraction right here is because I don't see why they would have Roxanne win when she's got a guaranteed title shot still in her back pocket. I mean, maybe they will, but I got Gigi and JC winning it. And then I also think that it would be cool if afterwards they just got beat up by the challengers and then they cashed in and beat them. That would be no fun.
John Smith is just cashed in happy right now, Travis.
I like Toxic Attraction. I was saying pre-pro that I haven't watched a ton of this new brand. I'm excited to sit down tonight and get myself refamiliarized with some of these guys. I've definitely watched the shows that we've had to pick, and I've done some of the lead-up reading and stuff. I do like that group of girls here, and Gigi Dolan I watched on the Indies beforehand, Darby's ex. And I think they're probably going to take this one for part of the reason, just like what John said. Like, why would you? I mean, that's a hell of a push to give to some girl. You're going to give her the titles, and then she's also going to have a shot, and you're going to do another. Yeah. That's a lot of momentum to put behind somebody. And if Hunter's running it, I think he likes to split that up a little bit more and stretch it out and get more bang for your buck out of those decisions. So I'm going to go with Toxic Attraction. Although, I don't know. I feel like a belt's got to change tonight, and that's the only one that I'm like.
Cora, James Wheeler's going with Cora and Roxy. I guess go Team 2001. I guess that's the year they were born. Jesus Christ, John.
Oh my God!
Wow. Yeah, you know what?
Literal fetuses fighting in the ring.
I've been picking against the Gigi and JC basically since they got those tags. So.
How's it going?
Why learn my lesson now? So give me Roxy and Cora, new champs.
Yeah, I'm with Travis. I'm with John Smith. I got Toxic Attraction. It satisfies. What was her big thing? I went in with the tag titles with my best friends because she didn't have to use the contract on yet. So I'm hoping this satisfies that. If not, we're gonna get a Cora Jade heel turn because she's gonna try to convince Roxy to use that contract. I don't think we're going that route. I think Cora's too good as what she's doing right now. So we're not getting a champs thing either. So give me Mandy Rose to cost the match with Roxanne getting pinned, and that will lead to the contract and whatever. I don't know if there's an NXT in your house or a takeover, or what used to be called a takeover. I don't know if there's anything coming up. Maybe to do something SummerSlam weekend. But give me Toxic Attraction now. Yeah, the champ thing for Roxanne just doesn't float for me. Wesley says he's going to have his strength on full display for tonight for Trick Williams. This ended off an altercation. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. Wesley pouring his guts out on live TV. Trick Williams pretty much laughed in his face. John DeConnie.
Wesley's the one who's got a storyline here. Good for Trick for getting some actual ring time, but I think Wesley takes this.
I couldn't agree. Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with that. I'm not even going to take my turn. Travis.
Same.
John Smith.
I think this is the beginning of Trick Williams, like kind of a solo thing, and I'm not saying he's going to dominate, but I think he cheats to win.
All right, you got to cheat to win sometimes. James Brewer doing some sideline reporting for me. Troy Donovan was kicked out of D'Angelo. Was a gimmick to write him off TV because Troy Donovan was released as we reported 3 weeks ago, but he kept on appearing on TV, so we thought we got lied to. And forever, just for Troy Donovan, and yeah, that's how rumors got started. But eventually, I guess they end up being true because now he's just not on TV. So, Wendy Cho cut a promo, John DeConnie, brushing her teeth.
Yeah, she's been dreaming about ways to irritate Tiffany Stratton, and she's certainly been doing a good enough job. And I think tonight is the night that that all comes home to roost, and not in a good way for Wendy, because I think Tiffany, when it comes right down to it, is the one who's going to get the push here, and I think she's going to put a hurting on Wendy tonight.
Travis, your cousin Ryan went to an NXT house show that saw these two. I don't know if it was in action against each other or promos or whatever, but he's taking Tiffany Stratton because the focal point is on her, as Travis is doing a great Wendy Cho impersonation. I call it that.
I'll take Trish Stratus.
There you go. John Smith.
Stratus. Trish Stratus 2.0, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with Stratton here. Wendy Chu is like she's the one that doesn't need to ever win, and she'll always be over. Just like the what was her name? I already forgot their name. The fucking, excuse my language, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
Ah, yes.
What was their name again?
Jurassic Express.
Jurassic Express. She reminds me of them. Like, she never has to win, and she'll always be over.
Yeah, I'm going with Tiffany Stratton as well. Wendy Chu, we could be seeing her kill people as Mei Ying. May's gonna kill you. Mei Ying's gonna kill you. We could be seeing that right now, and it would be awesome. Except that I want her to just lose and lose and lose and just fall asleep and then come back out as Mei Ying. Now that Hunter's back in control, where's SpongeBob? SpongeBob, that one. Just get this. I hate this gimmick. I'm easy critic. I just hate this.
I think it's just something that she stuck in because they wanted some kid/merch sale type stuff there to see where they could go with it. And business is business. But yeah, I'm with all you guys on that. This is not great.
And Travis, that makes sense. And it's an original gimmick. No one thought of a gimmick.
No,
what if we try a gimmick where a person's constantly sleeping at ringside?
I don't have a problem with them. I don't have a problem with them giving characters tries and different things like that to see what works. Are you kidding me? I come from AEW. We got Orange Cassidy and we got Danhausen. Like, they're in there for specific reasons, right? You got to be a business, but at the same time, if it doesn't work, then move on.
Joe Gacy and the Dyad defeated Diamond Mine as Roddy took that elevated DDT from the Dyad again. That's a good finisher move by the Dyad. Roddy tagged himself in at that point and told the Creeds to stay on the apron. So Diamond Mine is just flat out pissed off on all cylinders. And Roddy Strong has gotten to the point that, you know what? I'm going to teach you a lesson in the ring, and I'm going to take the tag team championships while I do it. So we had Diamond Mine exploding, which I guess is kind of a fair. That's what you do inside a Diamond Mine, right? To get the diamonds. You got Roddy Strong, Damon Kemp on one side. You got the NXT Tag Team Champions, the Creed Brothers, on the other side. My personal opinion, this is probably the toughest one to pick. John Smith, as your senior NXT correspondent, give us your expertise on this one.
according to my record, I think you want to go opposite what I'm about to do. But, I'd like to see Ivy Nile like go heel and then stay with Roddy and Kemp and help them win. That would be like a nice little, change of character for her. I just don't think that kind of thing's going to happen. I think the Creeds win and then get beat up afterwards, and then this is like the split of the diamond mine, and then maybe they like fight over Ivy, over the next couple of weeks.
John the Connie, Ivy Nile on a forklift match.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I think, I'd be really worried if it wasn't for the fact of how long it took them to put the belts finally on the Creeds. I think it's just too quick to take it off of them. So give me the Creeds retaining here.
Yeah, James got the Creeds as well. Then they're going to kick Roddy out, Travis.
Yeah, I love Roddy. I've seen him a bunch of times and talked with him personally and stuff. Great. Really, really good wrestler. And I like Kemp a lot, too. It's actually frustrating to me a little bit because I did like this faction when they started piecing them together and stuff, and they had a lot of things going for them. But that was kind of the way that NXT went for a little while for me, between the Cash Money guys and then these guys as well and stuff. So, and I agree with John. It's just too soon for the Creeds to get the belt to have them give it over to Strong and Kemp on kind of on opposite ends of what they want to do here. So I'm interested to see what Hunter does if Hunter's running the ship with regard to both of those wrestlers, though, and where they go.
I'm with John Smith as well. Ivy Nile is going to be the wild card in this. I have Ivy Nile. She's going to get not intentionally get involved, but I'm thinking Roddy's going to instruct her to do something. She's not going to do it, and that's what cost Roddy the match here. So that I got the Creeds retaining because Ivy says no, and Ivy's been kind of on the Creeds side here, and then everything that happened with Ivy over in the UK, the respect she was showing over there. She tried to take Tatum back under her wing over here, so we're seeing a babyface just Ivy Nile, and I think that's where this is going to go with that. There's a backstage interview with Carmelo and Trick. Was interrupted by Grayson Waller, who asked if Melo could sign a few things for his mates back home. Looks like Waller got one over on the A-Champ here, John the Connie. Melo found out while he was leaving the arena that Waller had played him, and that there was a contract in that list of things that Waller was having Melo sign. But as Carmelo said, when you play the A-Champ, you play yourself.
That was a really funny gimmick that they worked into last week's episode. But I know big things are ahead for Waller, but just like I said with the Creeds, Carmelo just got the belt. It wouldn't have made sense to take it off of Grimes. Well, obviously they had plans for Grimes to go. We'll get to that. But Waller, I think Melo holds on here. There's things ahead for Waller, big things, I'm sure. But I'm going to say Melo retains.
Travis, Melo has the bad habit of making the shots that he calls. James Wheeler said he's not missing this one.
Yeah, I'm with John. But I'm really high on Grayson Waller, and I'm really high on Ivy Nile, and I think there's money to be made between Waller and Breaker, and I think there's money to be made between Mandy and Nile, and I hope we end up getting to those matches. I don't see Melo losing this match this soon again. Like, it'd be very Impact-ish if we saw both of these title matches flip in, a heartbeat, basically.
Mm-hmm. John Smith.
Yeah, it seemed like they pumped the brakes on Waller for a minute, like within the past couple months. But, I like to see him win this. I just, like you guys are saying, it doesn't make it, there's no build-up. Do they just have him win and then Carmelo wins it back so Carmelo can be a 3-time champ? Is that what they're going for? Because, they always like to make somebody like the first something. I know Johnny Gargano was a 3-time North American champ, and maybe they have Carmelo get up to 4 at some point. I'm going to go with the safe bet on Carmelo, but that's like 51-49 by me.
This would be one of the greatest coups. The coup, right? What Grayson Waller did. Greatest coups in wrestling history if Grayson Waller tricks Carmelo Anthony into signing a championship contract. Signing autographs. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Yeah, but then they can focus on the Trick Williams push. Maybe that's what we're going for. Maybe a split between Trick and Carmelo. Maybe Trick cost Carmelo the match. I don't know. I'm almost like trying to convince myself to take Waller now. I'm just gonna do it. I'm taking Waller. I'm switching my pick.
All right, you got it. Make sure you go to Pro Wrestling. You have an hour, and actually, I forgot to do my picks too. So we got to make sure we get.
I have it up on my screen right now. I'm switching it as we speak.
All right. There was a face-to-face last week with Braun Breaker, Cameron Grimes. Grimes has everything to lose. He's all in. He doesn't have a backup plan. But it looks like that his current plan, as mentioning Braun's father, to the point where Braun attacked and Braun ended up spearing the turnbuckles, that worked. Looks like Braun is coming into this match with an injured left bicep, John Smith. Cameron Grimes has been saying for a long time now, he wants to go to the moon. He's got the rocket ship on his back right there. He's on his way. Braun said himself, you're not gonna like it, but you're fine when you get there.
Yeah, well, if Grabby wants to make it to the moon, he's gonna have to take a detour to the main roster first because he's not winning this match. I think this is his last stop before some sort of call up in some way. But it's gonna be like your traditional face versus face match. There's going to be a lot of respect, and then at the end there will be some disrespect, but then a handshake after it's all over.
Okay. James Wheeler's playing matchbook here. After the match, Braun gets attacked by a masked figure. That masked man turns out to be MJF, Travis!
I'm down. Absolutely. Make it happen.
Who do you got in this match?
So I'm gonna go with Braun Breaker here, and I think that I'll take odds on the Grimes call up, and I think they're gonna call him Moonshine Maverick is gonna be his new name.
Moonshine Maverick, eventually just down to Moonshine, John Connie.
Well, I guess they can't go down to Maverick because, for reasons. But I'm gonna go against the grain here and say that one of the main rosters could use the boost of Braun Breaker, and Grimes makes I'll be very happy to see them put the belt on him, but I think he will wind up being a pretty quick transitional champion, whether it be to Waller, whether it be to Mello, whomever. I'm gonna go Cameron Grimes taking the title here.
I would love to see Cameron Grimes and have his name on that list with the lineage with Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, and not AJ Styles, and Adrian Neville. That's what I was trying to think. Everybody, Seth Rollins,
Balor, Aleister Black, Nakamura, Cross, Andrade.
Cameron Grimes, and he's earned it. I mean, the guy's a trooper. He's done everything he has. Feud of the year with Ted DiBiase last year. The guy's completely earned it. Now the thing is, he mentioned it. He's like, I'm going to beat you. You're going to go to the main roster. You're good. I don't think Braun's ready for the main roster yet. I don't think Braun can talk, and I don't think there's a manager up there that can manage him right now. There's nobody up there right now. They don't have any managers right now.
They might have an advocate for him, though.
So I'll tell you.
Put him with MVP?
I'll tell you.
Advocate. You put him with payment, yeah.
What would be interesting to me is if you brought him up with Gable Steveson and you put him in Alpha Academy.
That would be good. There you go.
Those were all great ideas. And the most likely route is he becomes a member of Maximum Male Models.
That's such good shit.
I'm like, wait a minute, haven't I seen Breezango before? No, I guess not.
Doesn't the whole Marseille thing scream like this should be Velveteen Dream?
Oh, it was probably his slot, right? Gosh, poor guy.
So I got Braun Breaker as well. I just don't think he's ready for the call. Hopefully Grimes gets called. I see Grimes in Maximum Male Model. That'd be hysterical. I got the wrong music. There we go.
I was going to say, what the heck was that?
All right, James, he's got Braun winning. Cameron Grimes takes part in that. Oh, wow.
I thought I had a tab open and I was playing an ad or something. I was like, what the hell is that music?
Okay, so that will do it for us. We'll just get a couple announcements in. We got perfect. Joey, we got perfect timing here, pal. We are good. I gotta get the comment. Sorry. All right, here are the Raw roll-ups. After this week, this is what happened. It was Ladies' Week in the Raw roll-up column. Mine is Karl Anderson. Kiana James talked nerdy to me, girl. She rolled up Indy Hartwell, Fallon Henley. Overseas in the UK, she rolled up Amelia McKenzie, Ty Valkyrie, on Tennille Dashwood at Against All Odds. And then there it is on the bottom. The front runner for Raw Roll-Up of the Year. I spy a Jersey girl, Liv Morgan on Ronda Rousey. The balls, the ovaries on Liv Morgan. Cashing in on Ronda Rousey of all people. You know, the funny thing is, I thought about that. It makes you think what would happen, or what was supposed to happen with the Rhea Ripley Bianca Belair match that was originally supposed to happen. I think that's why maybe they diverted Liv to Ronda and not have her just beat. I feel like it makes sense to just cash in on Bianca. Maybe Rhea was supposed to win that match. Maybe, you know, it's interesting to see what's going to happen on that. So that leads us to Raw. Raw didn't get anything last night, right? So AEW, they didn't have any either. Now that I'm thinking about it, SmackDown, I credited Liv Morgan with a SmackDown roll-up. Even though she's a Raw superstar, having not an overall pay-per-view, but it was a SmackDown sanctioned match. So SmackDown got the roll-up there. NXT finally, maybe tonight we're going to roll up, get them double digits. The UK is at 12 Impact. Because of Ty Valkyrie at 25. Your lowest wins, Liv Morgan's now in the win column. That was her third of the year. Xavier Woods has been stalled at 5. That really has got to just pick up. And then they got The Miz still in the lead right now with 4. Austin Theory, I had labeled twice on the sheet, on my spreadsheet, as Theory and as Austin Theory. He has 3 total. I screwed up on it. So that will do that for the roll-ups. Please join us. We have the primetime rundown. It'll be coming up next. Now let's do the doubleheader graphic. There you go, the doubleheader graphic. It is on right after us in about 5 minutes. The primetime rundown, regular season programming, regular season schedule has concluded. Resumed its second summer schedule. This is a lot of S's. All right, every Monday at 7 p.m. Join Joey Jarzega, Ian Schreier, and Mike Zabo as they bring you the wide world of sports on Monday nights in the thick of the summer. Except for this week because of the holiday, it is a doubleheader Tuesday. They're going to be on tonight right here on the Eastern Observer. And also, do you have an interest in becoming a sports reporter? Would you want to be asking high-profile coaches and players questions in person? Are you a college student looking to break into the sports media industry and looking to write about your favorite team? The Eastern Observer is looking for interested candidates to join the family for college credit. Look no further, aspiring writers, sports media specialists, content creators, etc. can inquire by emailing eosports3@gmail.com, and we are looking forward to having you join the Eastern Observer family. Actually, Travis, I'm going to make this quick for you. Actually, I have an article coming out tomorrow. Is that Bill Shakespeare? No, that's Al Karl on the top of the screen. I got an article coming out tomorrow on how I would divvy up the current AEW roster to start Ring of Honor. So what I'll do is I'm going to throw up the AEW roster right now. Give me 2 guys that you were going to pinpoint to help start Ring of Honor. 2 guys real quick off the top of your head.
Oh, Claudio, obviously. I think that he's a shoo-in. And then give me somebody to spoil Wheeler Yuta. So we'll lend-lease Sammy Guevara after getting kicked out of Jericho Appreciation Society by Daniel Garcia, the more superior wrestler. 2 things to touch on. Number 1, Alan Angels is gone. He said thank you very much for his time. He was number 5 of the Dark Order.
Yes.
Bray Wyatt recently changed his Twitter handle to Wyatt6. Tomorrow night's Dynamite is in Rochester, New York, the house that Brody Lee built. You're going to see Wyatt number 6.
All right, the Black Cats NYC, they are the official sponsor, the official band of the Eastern Observer. Anytime, anywhere you get this music, you can get the Black Cats NYC. It's out loud, it's out now, play loud. Always sponsored by Pro Wrestling Pick'em. Play against your friends, play against the universe. Guys, sure like us too. Make sure you join us next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. However you're listening to the show now, you will be able to listen to us again next week. Please join us on this Unruffling podcast, and make sure you join us on Saturday, July 30th at 2 p.m. for the Summer Slam special. Travis, thank you so much for joining us. Anything but quick before we go? We got 20 seconds.
No, it was a blast as always. Love being here with you guys.
Sounds good. John Smith, anything before we get out of here?
I hope Grayson Waller doesn't make me look like a fool.
John the Connie.
Yep. Let's take it home.
Alexa Bliss, we love you. John the Connie, take it home.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
Joe Jarzanka and the boys are up next in 15 seconds. Thank you so much for joining us. Joey.